How much of this, at least meeting or possible negotiation, can lead into some kind of meaningful development on ending the partial U.S. government shutdown?
Well, it's a critical step for them to actually get back in the room. Remember, Trump was criticizing Nancy Pelosi for being in Hawaii and during the government shutdown and the holiday. And there's really been no progress in the last 12 days that this shutdown has been happening. And as you mentioned, there is real-world consequences that Americans are facing in terms of the EPA, the FAA. They are getting hit. The IRS, they can't train their workers to be able to adapt to the new tax law. And so Trump is viewing this as an opportunity to end the shutdown, which he himself in that last meeting with Pelosi and Schumer said he'd be happy for them to call that the Trump shutdown. He's been trying to shift the blame as the Schumer shutdown, but most Republicans have not been joining him in that effort.
Dan, take us through now the play-by-play, because you're the author of the Politico Playbook here. What happens now in the next couple of days as we head into Thursday when the Democrats take control of the House? What exactly will come out in terms of events or milestones in the next couple of days, not just on the shutdown, but policy overall?
So Pelosi becomes Speaker tomorrow as she formally swears everyone in terms of U.S. House of Representatives. And then they're going to pass this bill to fund the government. And McConnell is expected to reject it. And so what he is waiting for is a signal from President Trump to give political cover to all those Republicans who have said it has to have X amount of border wall money. And so if Trump wants to end this shutdown, he can do so pretty much immediately, and then Republicans will pass whatever is passed in the House. And so that's what everyone was watching. And this is disrupting what Democrats had wanted to talk about, which is infrastructure and health care and holding Trump accountable. Instead, they're having to clean up last year's mess.
So, Dan, how much of the overall feel in Washington right now with regard to ending this partial government shutdown is tied to border security? Is there any give that you see President Trump or the Republicans in Congress giving on the border security front to help get a deal done on this government shutdown?
I think border security money is definitely going to be part of it, but Republicans will likely claim that it is for a wall, and Democrats will say, well, it's for fencing and overall security measures. But we're looking at probably $1.3 billion in terms of allocating that money to help solve our border problem. But this is a landmark issue for Democrats. They view themselves as the winners from the midterms, and they say that Americans did not vote for a government shutdown and a huge fight over a border wall that is likely not going to be even finished by the time Trump leaves office.
How much, Dan, is the border wall going to be a signature of President Trump's policy in his first years as president of the United States? How important is it to him to have this border wall done?
It's very important because he views it as an issue that if he can't get it resolved in his favor, then his political base might abandon him in 2020. And it's already going to be harder for him to get moderate Republicans. You saw Mitt Romney's anti-Trump op-ed in the Washington Post overnight, and independents for him to vote for him in 2020. And so if he loses his base, then it could be a huge rout in 2020 by whoever is the Democratic challenger. And so Trump views this as an existential issue. What's interesting is he doesn't actually criticize Pelosi during their negotiations or on Twitter. He hasn't given her a nickname. And Pelosi used to trek up to Trump Tower to beg Trump to donate to him when he was a Democrat. And that's something they don't really talk about anymore.